Welcome to Geeks Corner. I'm Mr. Daps.
I'm Caitie.
And did you know that incoming Disney CEO Josh D'Amaro started his Disney career at the Disneyland Resort in 1998?
You know, I did know that.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, he's our local Disneyland boy.
Yeah. He went away, he came back, and then he went on to bigger and better things, went away again.
He's like the kid that, like, you know, from your hometown that, like, goes to college and then, like, does crazy things. But you're like, oh, but I remember him when he was...
So bonus points. Do you know where he was born?
Oh. No. I want to say, like, San Bernardino County or something.
Try Medfield, Massachusetts.
What the heck?
Mm-hmm. Very different. And then I'm like, is Medfield the name of the city or the school or whatever in all of the old Disney live action films? Because I'm thinking that's the college. I think it's Medfield College, right?
It might be.
I think it is. Maybe somebody can let us know in the comments. We'll find out. Speaking of comments, Caitie, what should people do?
Well, you should subscribe to us wherever the heck you're watching because...
Or listening.
Because we do cool things. You should also go to Daps HQ over at patreon.com/dapsmagic. We do a post show to this show. And I feel like tonight's going to get real unhinged, which I say every week, but I really mean it. And you should also go into the comments, go into the chat, go wherever you are. Because if you're watching live, we have a portion towards the end called Comments.
Comments.
Beautiful.
That is exactly what it is called. But before we get into all of that, the Walt Disney Company has a new CEO. His name is Josh D'Amaro. He will be taking on the role on March 18th, I believe, the same day of the annual shareholder meeting.
Is that what that white smoke was about?
Did you guys see the picture, though? There was a meme going around today of white smoke coming, out of Cinderella Castle at Walt Disney World.
I did not see that.
I saw the Epcot one, too, but the Cinderella Castle one I thought was the best one.
That's very funny.
Along with him getting the CEO seat, Medfield College.
Wow.
There we go. Not crazy.
Synergy.
It was meant to be from the day he was born. Dana Walton will be taking on the role of President and Chief Creative Officer, which is a new role that's never been had at the Walt Disney Company before. It's also the first time that a female has been a president, even though it's a dual role. Like it's a two-part role. Throughout the day, former CEO Michael Eisner congratulated both of them. Bob Iger obviously did as well. And they were interviewed, Bob and Josh, tonight on ABC News and NBC News. So they've been all over the place, which I think is very funny because the last couple of months, I feel like Josh has been very noticeably absent from media events. And you know it's because they're kind of gearing up for this thing and they're just like, don't want to like have anything slip or somebody ask a question they're not supposed to, or like notice that he got pulled from all of the videos at Walt Disney World hotels, that kind of stuff. I think they should have kept him.
I know. I miss
him. The
him.
Michael Eisner approach.
I actually was going to say I'm disappointed that Michael Eisner didn't create a video message that started with him going, hello, behind a plant with like a Mickey Mouse tie on.
Yeah.
And his Mickey Mouse watch.
And
his
maybe
Mickey
even
Mouse
ears.
hat.
Yeah, he could wear the ears too.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we think of Josh D'Amaro being the next CEO of the Walt Disney Company? Caitie, you get to go first.
Wonderful. I actually was forming these thoughts when I was on FaceTime with my parents earlier. Hi, parents. I think the thing that I really love about Josh D'Amaro in a CEO role is he really does care about the guest experience and the consumer experience. Because obviously being the CEO isn't just parks and experiences. It's also going into film. It's going into the subsidiaries like the Lucasfilm, the Marvel, the everything.
Sports ball.
Sports, ESPN, Savannah Bananas. Like, and I think that he is open to feedback, but he also doesn't let that feedback dictate what the plan is too much. And that is an important thing as a leader. I know that's not something that we would love to hear as consumers is, we want our opinions to be valued and heard, but also as a CEO, you get a heck of a lot of opinions. So you need to be able to have a very clear vision of what that course is going to look like while also having empathy and care. And every time we have met Josh D'Amaro, he's shown that like tenfold. He is always, the there's this thing we kind of joke about where it's like everybody you meet, they have "I'm important" tattooed across my forehead. And Josh D'Amaro like lives that. Like every person in front of, like the most important person in the world to him is the person in front of him. And he embodies that. And I'm super, super, super excited to see what he does with the Walt Disney Company, because I think he's got a good vision.
I will say, if he's as interested in this new role as he was in my Star Wars tie on the opening day of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, we're in for a good run.
Oh my gosh, that was good.
Yeah.
He also liked my Baby Yoda hat that one time.
He was very into all Star Wars. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a good move. I've been thinking about who would be next for months, if not years now. And I think it's fairly safe to say that anybody that was a fan or an analyst of Disney that had a vested interest 6-7 years ago, we're probably not super thrilled with the first try at Succession for Bob Iger. And I don't think it was a huge surprise. You know, sometimes when you're too close to things, I think it can be hard. And so I think one of the great things about the Walt Disney Company is they tend to learn from their mistakes. You know, we've seen this with events like Disneyland After Dark events where something doesn't work as well as it could, and you see they've analyzed and adjust for the next time. They've clearly done that. And you look at the team that was brought in for the board to pick Josh as the next CEO. And so you've got James Gorman, who just did that very well, effectively. And every other person that was on the nominating committee had this type of experience in a CEO, like a new CEO role in Succession in their portfolio. And so rather than it being people that were already kind of in the system that know that, you have people that maybe are a little bit newer and have also that they could really do their due diligence, I guess you'd say, without being too biased, to come up with a decision of Josh D'Amaro as CEO and then Dana Walden as president and CCO. And I think that's the smart way to do it. It took them, I mean, it's been almost 3. I think they announced it in 2023 that they were starting the process. Gorman took over in 2024. So basically a year and a half since Gorman took over. And I think they really did it the smart way. And it's no surprise that it ends up being D'Amaro and Walden that end up in the top 2 spots, because they're the ones that kind of been standing out for a very long time now. As I was thinking about who would get the top spot and how that would work out, I really did have to come back to, like, it looked like it was Josh's to lose to me, just as I was looking at the different things he's done in the last couple of years in his role as chairman of Disney Experiences. Like, he's done some stuff that's on the entertainment side of things, whether it was the incredible Disney Experiences panel at D23 a couple of years ago, working with Epic Games. Like, he's been doing stuff that's not necessarily like, he works well with other people, I guess is a good way to put it. And you hear about him being at premieres, and he's already interacted with people in the movie industry. And so it's not an unknown commodity completely. Does everybody in the movie industry know who he is? No. But they will. Like, he's going to go from being a person that probably could go to lots of places and maybe be kind of recognized to he's going to be recognized everywhere. I think it's really smart of them to put D'Amaro and Walden together in this role, just because I do think, as has been a huge discussion in the Disney community, that Disney is best when it's run by 2 people. The thing I do think is also interesting is this is not a traditional way of doing this. This is not a Walt and Roy. This is not a Michael and Frank. This is a Josh and Dana, because it's not the creative that's being supported by the operational person. You could almost make the argument that it's the other way around. And that's kind of an interesting thing. But what I think we've also observed is Josh knows how to pick the right talent, and he also seems to recognize things that are gonna get people excited and geek out about, whether it's droids or you know, a music number at D23. Like, there seems to be some creative openness and elements that he's pretty good with. And Fortnite, there you go. But I think it's interesting because they both have some creative chops. I think she's probably stronger in the movie entertainment creative world, but I do think there's an argument to be made that parks now are almost as important to be creative, if not more, about the same as entertainment is. Like you have to have that storytelling element, and it's not just recreating the story. It's, you know, coming up with new stories for Avengers Campus or Galaxy's Edge or whatever that is. So I think it's a fascinating way to move this forward. I think they're probably very well positioned to take Disney to the next level. And if you want to go even more into what I think, I did post a Daps Magic Disney and Positive Stuff podcast earlier today that goes into my thoughts about where they will lead the company and how the DeMauro era is going to differ than the Iger era, because I really think it is a it's the next chapter in this story of the Walt Disney Company. I also think it's interesting. The company's 102 years old. Mm-hmm. He will be, depending on how you count it, the 8th or the 9th CEO ever.
What do you mean, depending on how you count it?
Walt Disney was technically not the CEO. He was the co-founder. And
I count it.
So then he would be 9th.
Yes.
And it'll be interesting to see, you know, what this looks like moving forward. And what are your thoughts on? Do you have thoughts on Dana Walden?
I'm also excited to see this collaboration for the company. Honestly, and I know this is so, especially if you said this 10 years ago, it's so sacrilegious to be like, man, the days of like Michael Eisner and Frank Wells. Mm-hmm. But you literally had a little bit more of an undisciplined version, because this was 30 some odd years ago. Michael Eisner running around and being like, my kids said we should do Star Tours. Mm-hmm. And then Frank Wells going, oh my God, let me just figure out how that's actually going to happen. I think it's really exciting to have two people that are very disciplined and passionate creatively, that also have the financial and the prowess and the operational hat that they can put on. Like they can kind of wear both. And I think that the reason the company is going to be successful with the two of them is that they both can support the other where needed.
I agree. I think it's also important to note that there's going to, right now is the honeymoon period.
Yes.
I'm actually really looking forward to this. One of my favorite things with Josh is I've had the unique opportunity to be in the parks with him multiple times where guests have come up and told them that they don't like reservations, mm-hmm. or they don't like this or they don't like that. And Josh, to his credit, will always stay and talk with the person and listen to the person and hear them. And then also at the same time, not back down. And I think that's an important thing to do as a leader. And so he's been able to, I've seen it happen multiple times where he's like, well, this is the reasoning behind the reservations. And this is how Disney
it's always
thinks.
Reservations.
Usually.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is the reason behind it, and this is how it does benefit you, even if you don't see it. And I think this is the hard part with anybody. The further up you get from people, the harder it is to understand the decisions that are made. And that's going to be something that'll be interesting for us as Disney fans, is we kind of have this, we like Josh opinions on things. And there's going to be times where things come that people are going to be like, oh, well, this isn't the Josh from before. And yes, it is, because Josh is going to continue to be Josh. And what we're going to see is Josh is going to have different information, different responsibilities, different priorities that may not line up always with us that are in the parks every month, week, whatever, how often you go. And it'll be interesting to see how that as a community gets navigated and interact, like how all of that plays out. Because I think that's kind of the fun of this in some regards. Because I think one of the things we do forget is that we get to go to Disneyland, we get to watch Inside Out or Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever it is, because people like Josh and Bob and Michael and Card and Roy and Ron and Walt, I guess. I don't know if I got them all. But because these people do make the hard decisions that keep the business growing. And if it's not growing, it's failing. And that there's nothing worse than that could happen is Disney to fail. And so I think we all want him to succeed. And we would love to interview you, Josh. You can do it virtually. You can sit on the couch. You are more than welcome to come and be on Geeks Corner anytime you want.
He did say yes to that.
He did years ago. Yes, I think we keep trying. So let's get Josh on Geeks Corner, and we will talk about favorite movies. We will talk about the Muppets. We will talk about all of the fun stuff. And people will get to know a little bit about Josh tomorrow.
We can talk about your favorite pizza.
Yeah, you can pitch us whatever you want to talk about. It'll be a blast. All right. We spent a lot of time on that, but it's an exciting day.
Are you surprised?
No. All right. But now it's time to talk about the important thing.
Thanks, Daddy. Mr. Daps. Thank you, Mr. Daps. Thanks, man.
It is time to talk about the Muppets. The Muppet Show arrives on Disney Plus and ABC tomorrow. In fact, it's in like 3 hours. You could watch it on Disney Plus. So odds are, if you're not watching this live, you could be watching the Muppets and then this.
Now.
Yeah, you could watch the Muppet Show with Sabrina Carpenter and Seth Rogen and Maya Rudolph.
Rudolph.
What do you get when you combine Seth Rogen and Maya Rudolph?
That's good.
You never know. Anyway, we did get the chance to see the Muppet Show, and so we have watched it. You could have had the chance to see it if you've watched it on D23 Gold Theater earlier tonight. And I will tell you, without getting into any spoilers whatsoever, we're not going to talk about anything that's in the show. We're just going to talk about feelings and vibes and things like that, because really it's one of those things. With a show like this, you need to watch it and you need to have your own opinions, and we don't want to impact that. We will share our opinions, though. And Caitie, with that in mind, what were your opinions on The Muppet Show?
I absolutely loved it, and I loved it not in the not in the regard of we got Muppets, therefore I like it. It was this actually feels like the Muppets. It's structured like the Muppets. It sounds like the Muppets. Everything about it is going to give you, it gave me, I can't say it's going to give you, it gave me the feeling of watching the original Muppet Show. And that is the highest compliment I think I could give. Because there's just this feeling you can't replicate without doing something 100% correctly. And, I mean, there's the old story with the Tiki Room with Walt Disney where he was like, why are the birds breathing? And it's like, well, because the guests can feel perfection. Yeah, they're not going to notice these minute details here or there, but you're going to feel it as the person consuming it. And I think that's 100% true with this iteration of the Muppet Show. And I hope there's like 1,000 more to come, honestly.
Love it. I loved it as well. I thought it was a blast. I thought they nailed the vibe of the Muppet Show, but also made it modern, so it wasn't just looking to the past, which I think would have been bad. I think if they just tried to simply go back and be like, we're doing the Muppet Show again, and there wasn't anything current, that could be a problem. And because you think of it, like the Muppet Show at its time was really kind of edgy, and they got edgy in this, and I thought that was really solid. And I felt like they nailed the characters. They felt a lot more I mean, I watched it then the show. Beautiful. And but they nailed the characters, they nailed the vibe. It left you wanting more, which is a win. And the real hope I have now is people go back at 9:00 or midnight tonight and start watching it over and over. You know, just hit it on refresh or repeat or whatever it is, and get those play numbers up so we get more. And I am very pleasantly surprised. Like, I think the best thing that came out in recent years, and recent being a stretch, was probably the Muppet movie 2011. Like that kind of was that direction, but it wasn't the Muppet Show. And it also wasn't truly a Muppet movie, because the center of the story were people instead of Muppets. You know, like it was a little bit, I don't know. I think you could make some arguments about that. And then you go back further, then you've got, you know, Muppet Treasure Island and Muppet Christmas Carol, but you think that's adds up to like one good thing a decade if we were to stretch it all out. And I think this has a chance to be not just good, but great. Mm-hmm. And they could, even if they do the Columbo thing where it's a couple episodes a year, instead of it being like a weekly series, like Don't Kill Yourself Off, I would much rather know that, we get one a quarter or one a month and it's really good, as opposed to, and like with a really great guest, really great music, like go creativity and lean into good show, good story, good comedy, all of that stuff versus trying to rush it out and get too many. And I'm hopeful, like if people just keep watching it and hopefully everybody else thinks it's as good as we do. I see Bailey liked it and we liked it. And other people I know that were able to review it ahead of time also seem to be very into it. And I don't think it's just because it's new. I do think it is legitimately fun.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how I felt after we watched Disneyland Handcrafted, where I was like, oh my gosh, I want to watch it like 15 more times.
Mm-hmm. In some ways, this is better.
Yeah.
Like Handcrafted might be more interesting, but this is way more entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also it just feels so good to be back.
And hopefully we are back. Like this is the real trick. And this is where I'm finding myself on this fence or whatever you want to call it. Is I thought it was great. You thought it was great. Other people think it's great. Will the general population want to see this? Or in a perfect world, it introduces a whole new generation to the Muppets and they love it. And we get more of, beyond just this, maybe we get, the always rumored next version of Muppet Vision 3D. We have a space for that still at Disney California Adventure, and it's not super busy. Every time I go by, I don't know. I think there's possibilities for it, and don't you think?
So here's what I'm thinking, and hear me out. You can absolutely stop me. They haven't broken ground at the Hollywood backlot area. So I'm thinking we do a Muppet Vision aspect in that theater. And then in the Monsters building, we could do maybe a ride about movies. Maybe It's Great. And maybe the Muppets are providing commentary.
There you go.
The original plan for Disney MGM Studios and the Great Movie Ride. And then if we're looking for like an e-ticket attraction, do some expansion. I heard that the Electric Mayhem are putting on a concert, and I think they need a super stretch limo to get us there pretty quickly. So there's also, you may remember, there was a fountain in the Hollywood backlot area originally. It was Mickey. It was very cute. It's not there anymore. But we could bring that fountain back as Miss Piggy, dressed as the Statue of Liberty. Yeah. And I know, I hear ya. But what are we going to do with the refreshment backlot area and the cart? Easy. Have you ever heard of Rizzo?
Oh, I thought you were going to go Swedish Chef.
No. Rizzo. Okay. Rizzo the Rat. Did you know he makes pizza?
Oh, yeah. I see where you're going.
Pretty crazy. It's the city's top rated pizza, or as some people have said, it's rat pizza. Which is one of my favorite visual gags, and I'm so sad it's gone from the parks. Or they could bring back my personal favorite thing. You've got the dough. We've got the cheese.
There you go.
I'm sorry. I'm just really reminiscing about how much I miss Muppet Courtyard.
But I would like to see them actually move forward with new Muppet stuff and not
Agreed.
Just revisit the past. Because I think that's been the problem, is up until here, the Muppets have always just tried to revisit the past and recreate the lightning in the bottle that once was, without taking the risk of
new and
something
edgy.
new and edgy. And it's interesting because even in the interviews with Josh and Bob tonight, they were talking about the importance of taking risk as a leader. And I just think that's what the Muppets really need, is that that risk. Like, you have to take the risk. And I hope they do. And I hope we see more risky, edgy Muppets in the future. And that will be a lot of fun. All right, final thing for the night is looking to the past. After we just looked to the future, Disney California Adventure will be celebrating its 25th anniversary this coming weekend. We say this as we're looking at a map of opening day. Disney's California Adventure over to my right. But, yeah, there it is. And so we're doing a series called 25 Years at Disney California Adventure, where I'm basically just going through and spotlighting different things that have been in the park through the years. I rather liked today's. So today was Glowfest. Yeah. Yesterday was California Screaming. I have a couple more planned out later this week that'll be kind of fun. One of them being, I think, one of my favorite YouTube videos that we've ever posted. And mainly just because through the years, it has gotten some of the most amusing comments. And,
100%.
And it just keeps going and going. And I would never have predicted it. But
and you're probably not going to predict it either.
You'll have to stay tuned for that one. Make sure to subscribe to dapsmagic.com. But we're going to get new Mickey Minnie costumes. We're getting the return of Soarin' over California. We're getting a fun novelty bucket because they're not popcorn buckets anymore. But as you look back at 25 years of Disney California Adventure, what are some of your favorite things through the years? One or two of them.
Super easy to start. The California letters, that California postcard entrance, I think was entirely magical. And also I promise I'm not just saying this for the show because it's relevant. Disney California Adventure is what introduced me to the Muppets.
I think a lot of people.
That is the first place I ever, like, obviously you're born with awareness of Kermit the Frog. But like, you have this awareness of these things, but this was like the first real Muppet anything I saw as a kid.
And it's solid.
And Muppet Vision is so good, but I have such vivid memories of that pre-show. Specifically Scooter going through all the TVs. Yeah, like, and I swear I'm not just being like, it's because this is the Muppets episode. I've talked about this many a time. Yeah, I think Muppet Vision 3D for sure.
That's your thing, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
What's yours?
The correct answer is Electronica.
Oh,
no, Muppet Vision's definitely up there. Electronica is up there. I think that was one of the most fun, I guess it's an overlay that Disney did there. Mad Tea Party was kind of something that grew out of that. But Electronica had something special that really brought people together, and it planted the seeds for what Mad Tea Party would become. And people still talk about it today. Like, if you experienced either of those, you talk about it today. Like, if you were playing in the Flynn's Arcade, like, we used to go every Sunday night and we'd play Flynn's Arcade and compete in there and watch the different entertainment offerings. And then when Mad Tea Party came along, there was a similar thing going on with the band. And so it really helped, I think, create a Disney community in that park, and probably was some of the first times that the bigger Disney community was really into DCA. Because I think before that, you had your DCA 1.0 lovers, you being one of them. And then there was a few of us that are like, oh, I want to go do Muppet Vision every Sunday night for the last show of the night because it's the best, because it's empty. You know, there were certain elements of it, and there were small groups that were really into it. And then when, you know, I probably actually started with Glowfest and World of Color, that's when it started becoming a place where people were connecting not just with each other, but also at the parks. And that will be fun to see as well. And I think that's probably one of the things that was fun. Minnie's Fly Girls is always going to be up there, as are the Newsboys, always going to be up there. Interesting, a lot of this is entertainment driven.
Minnie's Fly Bikers.
And then like I think all of Cars Land, like that was one of the most fantastic openings I think I've ever been to, was the opening night of Cars Land. And
well, the other thing, we really have to thank DCA 2.0 for a lot of what you see on camera in front of you today, because as you've heard a million times, Daps was the only outlet I was watching for DCA 2.0 coverage, because you were at the media event, you had all these great videos. I was super sick that year, and so I literally had like just gotten, I think, an MRI, and I had like this crazy bruised hand. It was terrible, but I was watching the Daps videos because I was like, oh, this is quality, this is fun. And I was trying to imagine, because in my head, the last time I had been to California Adventure was what we called Wall Street, USA. You couldn't, like, you were going over behind Soarin' and entering the park. And so I couldn't even fathom, wait, where's the Starbucks? Wait, where did they put Cars Land? Like, and I was watching these videos, and I specifically remember the Newsboys video because I was so mind blown that like they came out on this trolley and they were doing not flips, but like
they're dancing,
all types of things. And so yeah, shout out to DCA 2.0. Thanks for the boyfriend.
There you go. All right, it is time now for
comments.
That is right. It is time for comments. If you have something you'd like us to respond to, throw it in the comments. We'll stick around for a couple more minutes. I will scroll back up. I saw a couple comments as we were going along that I will hit as much as I can. I'm going all the way to the top, so we'll see how that goes. Moving right along. Mikey was always hoping Josh would be the next in line. I think very good choice. I think a lot of us did. Once you met him and you saw him working and you saw how he interacted with the cast, you could see this was a good fit, and he genuinely cares, not just about the cast, but he also cares about the people, and that's an important thing. Yes, I think two people working together is a great way. I do think there always has to be a person that's where the buck stops. And hope studios like Picture get some of their, I think they will. I think there's been a focus. So the thing, looking at this, I can see where people are upset with the state of creativity in the Walt Disney Company is growing again. And I think the real trick is when they went through the era of not so fun during the pandemic and everything else, the focus became quantity, not quality. And Disney's still recovering from that. So when Bob Iger came back, he had to fix a lot of things, and he had to keep the company. It's interesting to me that both Bob Iger and Michael Eisner, towards the end of their careers at Disney, had to save the company from activist shareholders or corporate raiders. And I think they both successfully did it. And I hope that in history, they're both given a lot more credit than they initially were, because without Michael Eisner, the era of Bob Iger doesn't happen. And I think the same is going to be said without Bob Iger. We don't have the era of Josh D'Amaro. And
you just glazed over one of those.
Well, because it really wasn't an era. It was like, it was a blip.
It's just really funny.
And honestly, that's there's a lot of different what ifs that could be questioned with that. You're gonna love the Muppets tomorrow, or Muppet Show tomorrow. Can't wait for you to see that, Ethan.
I will say the other fun thing is that Sabrina Carpenter is Sabrina Carpenter.
Yes.
Like,
Mikey, I hope you let us know what you think about it as well. It does, like, it hits the nostalgia, but it also keeps moving forward. I think that's great. We'll see the original Muppet Vision. We'll come back. I don't know. Like, it's possible. It's also, I also think Imagineers like to make new things and not necessarily revisit the past. And I also wonder if we were to get a Muppet Vision somewhere else that was a carbon copy of the original one, I don't know how well it would be received. On the flip side, the counter to my own argument, Soarin' over California.
Yeah.
So anything is possible.
You real for that one.
And I think, honestly, if there's enough fan clamor for that, it could happen. Muppets, for whatever reason, under Imagineering. I will talk more about Muppets and Josh tomorrow on Daps After Dark on Daps HQ tonight. Remind me about this.
I gladly will.
I have more, but I'm going to save it because it's more than 2 seconds.
We know you love DCA 2.0, Johnny.
Yes. So are we in DCA 3.0 now?
I say we're in DCA...
Or heading into 3.0?
You've heard what I call it.
2.5, is that what it is?
2.8.
2.8, yeah.
2.8. Because I think I think Avengers Campus was 2.5.
Okay.
I say that we're in 2.8. I think 3.0 is when we get a park rename.
What if they don't rename it, but it's just a completely different park?
That's the problem, is we're doing Ship of Theseus on Disney California Adventure Park. But I think if we get a rename that officially begins the 3.0 era. If not, I think that what would signal 3.0 would be the closing of Grizzly Peak and Grizzly Airfield. To me, that would be... So
to me, I think the end of Paradise Gardens, if that becomes all Pixar or whatever it is back in the corner.
Really?
Fiesta.
Not Grizzly Peak?
I don't know that they'll ever get rid of Grizzly Peak, mainly because there's so many integrations with other parts of the park from there.
Okay.
Maybe the Challenge Trail, I could definitely see that going. I would personally love to see like Country Bears go there, or another idea that I have. But yeah, I don't know. Like there's lots of possibilities. Maybe we'll talk more about those on Daps After Dark tonight. All right, Katie, we're running out of time. What should people do?
You should go to dapsmagic.com, check out all the Disney and positive stuff as it happens, and subscribe to the mailing list so you don't miss any of it. And also, I don't remember what else I say. Do I do the Patreon?
We don't have a Patreon. We do, but it's Daps HQ.
Do I?
Daps Magic HQ.
Is that me?
That is you.
Wow. It's been a really long day, guys. It starts with a CEO at 6 a.m. What can I say? You should also go to patreon.com/dapsmagic.
Or dapsmagic.com/dapshq. That's where I want you to go. Anyway, go to dapsmagic.com/dapshq. We will have a special after show in like 6 minutes, something like that, or you can watch it later. All is good. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You don't want to miss any of the exciting things we have going up this week, which are a lot. And you can catch the podcasts there. You can also catch them wherever podcasts are broadcast, streamed, whatever it is. But that is all the time we have for you this week. So we will see you around the corner.
Bye.